Welcome to Growing Perspectives with Kaisha. I'm so excited to have a new guest with us today, and her name is Lisa Dugan. And Lisa is going to give us some background about her career path, what led her down that path. And like many people today, I noticed she started something new in addition to what she does every day. But she has another initiative that I saw on Facebook a little bit and then more on LinkedIn. So, Lisa, would you kindly introduce yourself and tell us who you are, your background, what do you do?
Sure, I'd love to. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this conversation. So happy to talk to you. So my background, I'm a civil engineer. And why did I want to choose civil engineering? I actually wanted to build bridges. Have I ever built a bridge? No.
That's okay, but you desire to. That's right.
I thought it would be really cool to drive over a bridge one day and say that I designed that.
I love it. I love that.
In college, I changed to more of an environmental career path because that was what interested me much more than the structural aspects. But engineering background, then I went into environmental consulting after college and got an opportunity with DuPont, the manufacturing company, and did some construction management in their capital group. I actually just celebrated my 25-year anniversary with DuPont.
That is excellent. The
So,
time passes quickly.
oh, yeah, it does. Um, I've enjoyed working for a larger company because it's allowed me a lot of opportunities to change jobs within the same company and try out new things. So after the construction management, I went into supply chain, and had various roles in supply chain, which is not typically a engineering role, right?
Correct.
But at that time, there was no supply chain degree. So having an engineering degree is a great foundation, and people look for engineers because of our logical thinking and our analytic skills. So I did some supply chain roles in DuPont, and today I'm actually leading a global team of data stewards. So we are managing the material data in our production and inventory system. I'm not going to go into much
Yeah,
detail there, but
that's
the fun
perfect.
part is managing a global team, which is definitely a skill set that I've really leaned into.
I love that. And there was something we overlapped twice in our career. We both were employed at DuPont. We overlapped in project management, continuous improvement, Six Sigma, and
Mhm.
then we overlapped during the supply chain roles. And your current role, I know you didn't get into a lot of detail with us, but is it safe to say that your current role is still connected to supply chain, or is it more on the business side? Is it more manufacturing? If you could just tell us which of those industries your current role aligns with the most.
Sure, absolutely. I would say supply chain, because if you think about the end-to-end supply chain process, plan, buy, make, deliver, all those happen in our enterprise resource planning or ERP system. And my team today is managing the material data in that system. So if the material data is not accurate, you can't buy it, or you can't package it or ship it
Yeah.
or sell it, right?
Yeah.
So it's very integral to the end-to-end supply chain in DuPont.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And when you say supply chain, I have to go back. Maybe some people may not have been familiar with the term supply chain a lot until COVID happened.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but I remember hearing it's the supply chain. There's a supply chain delay, just raw materials, end products. So I feel that over the past 5 years, the supply chain industry and profession has gotten more. attention, notice, more visibility. People are talking about the supply chain more than they did 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
So,
I found it really interesting. During COVID on the news, you started hearing people use the word supply chain, and I was like, "What?"
yes.
It's like
Exactly.
it's
And everybody knew that.
mainstream.
We understand it's the supply chain. So thank you for sharing your experiences. And it is diverse. I loved hearing how you worked in your career at a smaller company, corporation, and then the experience of working in a larger corporation and transitioning throughout your career. So, and now leading teams as well. So the leadership aspect of your career. Now, I want you to tell us a little bit about your career, engineering, um, definitely in the STEM industry. Supply chain is still in the STEM industry. Tell us what are some key insights that you've gained being in that industry or opportunities in that industry that people may not be aware of that you like to share with us related to STEM?
Mhm. Well, I mean, I think it was true when I was graduating with an engineering degree, and it's true now that engineering is very much a foundational way of thinking. I don't know that that's a surprise or a new
Yeah.
insight, but really you can take your career in a lot of different directions with that type of foundational knowledge. Um, as I explained, I went in multiple directions, but I think I would tell people not to limit themselves, go in for engineering, and you might be surprised where you're going to go in 5 years after graduation because you can really follow your interests. Um, I know somebody in my company who is an engineering major, and now she's doing marketing, like digital marketing.
Oh,
So really don't think that you are limiting yourself with an engineering degree. You're actually opening the doors to potential careers. And I wanted to point out like STEM careers in general have a higher growth in terms of job opportunities than non-STEM careers. So I would certainly encourage people to continue to look at STEM careers. I also, by the way, this might be pretty shocking, I only have a bachelor's degree.
shocking.
There's a lot of pressure, I think, on individuals to go for masters and MBAs. I've been able to have a successful career with my bachelor's degree. I do think there are some limits, right? I'm never going to be the chief operating officer, right? Or
Right,
the
right,
CEO of a company, right? Because I
right.
don't have an MBA. But I've had a successful career, and I think it's a lot about your drive for results, your work ethic, your willingness to work hard, your willingness to be able to pivot, and be agile with your learning and capability building. Much, I think that's just as valuable as tacking on advanced degrees.
I love that. I love that. And I have to say, I loved everything that you mentioned about how engineering opens the doors for so many opportunities. And I can relate. So, as we knew each other in my career, our career paths were similar. We went down different paths, but being able to have a diversity of opportunities, I experienced that same type of career path and starting with an engineering degree. And I loved what you said about the thinking. And some people will say the process approach. That's something else that stands out a lot with engineers as well. So I loved hearing all the examples you shared. So if you're listening to us, this is Growing Perspectives with Kaisha. Today's guest is Lisa Dugan. And Lisa and I go back several years. We won't say how far, but Lisa is an engineer by her background. She just shared with us that the engineering path, the STEM career path, has a lot of opportunities, and engineering is often seen as that almost that entry point that you can go different ways in your career. The thinking that it allows you to have and that foundation. She's also shared with us, her how her experiences has transitioned from supply chain to where she is now leading a team that's still connected to the supply chain, but in a different capacity. And she also talked to us about things that's helped her be successful in her career and how her career has continued to grow where she is currently without getting an additional degree, but continuing to learn and advance in her career. So, Lisa, I thought, when I saw that she had this new initiative going on, I said, I think I want to interview her. So, Lisa, tell us what's new with you. You have your day job, you're learning things and doing things new, but you have something else. What else are you starting related to STEM?
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Um, so I have learned through my career with DuPont, and through some formal mentoring programs here at DuPont, where I am the mentor and I'm given mentees, that I really enjoy that mentorship role. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from my mentees that they enjoy the feedback and insights that they get from me. So I wanted to take that to the next level and expand it outside of DuPont to see if I could, um, reach a broader audience. So I went ahead and developed a website. This is a one-person passion project right now. I went in, I figured out how to create a website, and it's an advice column. So
Good.
I was inspired by um, well, dating myself a little bit. I have the AARP magazine. They have some advice
There's nothing
columns.
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's
Oh,
great.
they have an advice column in there. And I was like, you know what? I like that format. I think I'm gonna, structure my website in an advice column format.
That's awesome.
So it's a place, and the name of the site is Her Ascent Career. I'm sure Kaisha will share a
I
link.
will. I will share the link.
Um, it's a place for women to ask for advice from me. And, whether they're looking for a non-biased
Yeah.
opinion, or perhaps the person is lacking mentorship in their existing role today. The site is confidential. You do not even have to submit your name if you don't want to. I'm just trying to attract women to STEM careers and perhaps help them get through some of the challenges they might be facing in their careers so that they can continue to thrive in a STEM related field. So that's what I'm doing today, and I'm excited about that. It's a format that I felt like was flexible enough for me to do while also supporting my full-time career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I commend you for that. I commend you for giving back. I commend you for recognizing the need. You didn't say that, but I'm hearing that. You recognize the need
Mhm.
and providing a space where people can contact you, get advice, get to help them, as you say, stay thriving and successful in the STEM path.
And I want to
So,
add that it's completely free. Like
yes.
I'm not, this is my passion, right? And somewhat of a hobby. And I'm just trying to help others where I can. So if you want some free advice,
I love it. I love it.
you can reach
And
out.
yes, absolutely. And I will share your link. And if people want to follow you in general, just to connect to see what you're up to as well, in addition to the column, how can they contact you and how can they find you?
The best way to find me is LinkedIn, or they can certainly reach out through the advice column form from the website. Um, I am also trying to generate a group on Facebook. So if you go to the advice column, Her Ascent Career, there is a link to Facebook, which takes you to the group. What I'd like to do is not only hear, my opinion on some of these questions, but get the group to also share their thoughts on questions and have a supportive community there. So it's still a work in progress, but hoping to get there in the future.
I love
The
it. I
group is
love it.
there
And
to
that
join.
absolutely, that is awesome. Well, I would say this has been fantastic because I've known you, as we say, several years. We'll leave it at several years, multiple states, and we've stayed connected. So, what are some of your parting words to us in general as you think of having a successful career, considering a career in STEM, or maintaining a career in STEM? What would you like to leave us with?
I guess I want to first acknowledge that a STEM degree and a career in STEM is not easy.
That's
You're going to
correct.
face challenges,
Yes.
but I think the benefits are worth it in terms of the impact to the global community. I think there's also financial benefits to a career in STEM. So I would just want to tell women to persevere, use your network and support groups as needed. Take advantage of your benefits if you need to in terms of balancing work life. But yes, keep going.
I
You
love it.
have a whole community of women behind you, even if you don't recognize it, but we're here for you if you need it.
I love that. I love that. So thank you again for spending some of your time with us. And thank you for being a fantastic guest on Growing Perspectives with Kaisha. And thank you for being a great person. I've known you for several years, so I look forward to staying connected. And thanks for sharing your expertise with us. Have a,
Thank you, Kaisha.
oh,
Much
you're welcome.
appreciated.
Absolutely.